Welcome to Weird to Know's Mega Quiz. 25 strange facts about places and geography. Every single one is real. 10 seconds each. Let's see how many you can get. Russia spans how many time zones? More than any other country on a single contiguous landmass. 11.
When it's noon in Russia's western Kaliningrad exclave, it's already 10 p.m. on the same day in Kamchatka in the Far East. The president's New Year's address has to be rebroadcast 11 separate times.
Mount Everest is the highest mountain above sea level. But which Ecuadorian peak is actually the closest point on Earth to the moon? Mount Chimborazo.
Earth bulges at the equator, so a peak near the equator gets a head start. Chimborazo's summit is more than 2 kilometers farther from Earth's center than Everest's, making it closer to space, the moon, and the sun.
Africa is the only continent that lies in how many of the Earth's 4 hemispheres? All 4.
Africa is the only continent crossed by both the equator and the prime meridian, putting it simultaneously in the northern, southern, eastern, and western hemispheres.
Bir Tawil, a desert area between Egypt and Sudan, is famous for being one of the only places on Earth that's what? Completely unclaimed.
Both Egypt and Sudan refuse to claim Bir Tawil because doing so would weaken their separate claim to a much more valuable neighboring territory. So it sits as one of the last unclaimed pieces of land on Earth.
What is the smallest country in the world by both area and population? Vatican City.
It's about 121 acres, small enough to fit inside Central Park nearly 700 times. Its population hovers around just a few hundred residents.
Alaska is the northernmost and westernmost state in the U.S. What other compass direction does it hold the record for? Easternmost.
Parts of the Aleutian Islands extend so far west that they cross the 180-degree meridian into the eastern hemisphere, technically making Alaska the easternmost state too.
Which country has the longest coastline in the world? Canada.
Canada's coastline is roughly 152,000 miles long, more than 6 times longer than Earth's equator. Most of it traces the country's thousands of Arctic islands.
China shares a land border with how many other countries? "14."
Russia also borders 14, tying China for the most in the world. China's neighbors range from North Korea in the east to Afghanistan in the west, and include both the world's most populous democracy and one of its smallest kingdoms.
Measured from base to peak, what is the tallest mountain on Earth? Taller than Everest? Mauna Kea.
Mauna Kea, in Hawaii, rises about 33,500 feet from its base on the Pacific Ocean floor to its summit. Most of it is underwater, but base to peak, it beats Everest by more than 4,000 feet.
The town of Barl on the Dutch-Belgian border is famous for what bizarre feature? Enclaves inside enclaves.
22 pieces of Belgium sit inside the Netherlands, and 7 pieces of the Netherlands sit inside those Belgian pieces. Some houses are split by the border, and your front door's location determines which country you legally live in.
Australia is wider than something you might see in the night sky. What? The moon.
Australia is roughly 4,000 kilometers wide, east to west. The moon's diameter is about 3,474 kilometers, so Australia is wider than the moon by over 500 kilometers.
Lake Baikal in Russia holds the record for being both the world's deepest lake and the world's what? Oldest lake.
Lake Baikal is over 25 million years old and reaches more than a mile deep at its deepest point. It holds about 20% of all the unfrozen freshwater on Earth's surface.
What is the largest desert in the world? Antarctica.
A desert is defined by how little rain or snow falls, not by temperature. Antarctica gets so little precipitation that it qualifies as the largest desert on Earth, bigger than the Sahara.
There are only 3 countries in the world completely surrounded by a single other country. Vatican City and San Marino are 2. What's the third? Lesotho.
Lesotho is entirely surrounded by South Africa. It's the only one of the 3 that isn't European, and it's the largest by far, about the size of Belgium.
Istanbul is the only major city in the world that's located on how many continents at once? 2.
The Bosporus Strait splits the city between Europe and Asia. You can take a 15-minute ferry across town and technically change continents during your commute.
Papua New Guinea has more of these than any other country in the world. What? Languages.
Over 840 distinct languages are spoken in Papua New Guinea, roughly 12% of all languages on Earth, in a country of only about 10 million people. Many tribes were isolated by jungle and mountains for thousands of years.
Pheasant Island, a tiny river island between France and Spain, has a unique sovereignty arrangement. What is it? Trades hands every 6 months.
France controls it from February to August, then Spain takes over from August to February. The 2 countries have alternated this way since 1659, making it the oldest joint sovereignty arrangement on Earth.
Where is the lowest point on dry land in the world? The Dead Sea.
The shore of the Dead Sea sits about 1,400 feet below sea level, and it's still dropping. The salt content is so high that swimmers naturally float on top without effort.
In the Australian opal mining town of Kubera PD, most residents live where to escape the heat? Underground.
Summer temperatures can hit 125 degrees Fahrenheit, so locals built homes, churches, hotels, even a bookstore inside repurposed mine shafts. Underground temperatures stay constant year-round.
The Caspian Sea is the world's largest example of what, despite its name, an inland lake.
It's a lake, not a sea. Despite the name, the Caspian is so large that it holds more water than all the Great Lakes combined and is bordered by 5 different countries.
Iceland is unique because it's the only country in the world that's literally doing what? Growing every year. Splitting in half.
Iceland sits directly on top of the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, where the North American and Eurasian tectonic plates pull apart. The island grows wider by about 2 centimeters every year.
Which country has the highest population density in the world, more than 26,000 people per square mile? Monaco.
Monaco is barely 2 square kilometers in size, smaller than New York's Central Park, but home to nearly 40,000 people. About 1 in 3 of them is a millionaire.
Chile's Atacama Desert holds the record for what climate extreme? The driest place on Earth.
Some weather stations in the Atacama have never recorded any rainfall, ever, Parts of it are so Mars-like that NASA uses it to test rover equipment.
How many North Koreans does the city of Pyongyang house out of a national population of around 26 million? Around 3 million.
Roughly 1 in 9 North Koreans live in Pyongyang, the only city allowed to be a city in the modern sense. Residency requires special government permission, and the city is considered a privilege reserved for the politically loyal.
The Four Corners Monument in the American Southwest is the only place in the U.S. where you can stand in how many states at once? 4.
Arizona, Colorado, New Mexico, and Utah all meet at a single point. Surveys have shown the monument is actually slightly misplaced from the true mathematical corner, but the legal boundary stays at the marker.
That's a wrap. If you got more than 15 right, you really know your geography. Hit subscribe for a new mega quiz every week. See you next time.